pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
What's going on, Savvy Investors? This is Steve Van Kalmberg, the Savvy Landlord, and today we're going to talk about systems. That's right, systems. I am an advocate, whatever you want to think about, in love with systems. I believe systems create freedom. But before we dive into that, I've been doing a few episodes and information, and I just always try to remind people, and one of my key things is remember where you came from. Okay, that's always important. I remember I was homeless for a while there in college. I was going to go into the military, and then that kind of fell through. And I was living on this dude's couch, and it's just crazy where I am today. So you got to remember where you came from, and then you got to remember what is your why. And that's another thing that I think is important is what's your why. And so why are we landlords? Well, first of all, why are you listening to this episode? Obviously to grow, to learn more, to be better. But you got to remember, why are we landlords? So here's a quick thing of why we are landlords. To make money, to build wealth, to shelter money, tax benefits, leverage, depreciation, appreciation. So ask yourself, what's your why? Why are you wanting to be a landlord? Why are you a landlord? And don't ever lose perspective of why. All right, here we go. Let's dive right into business systems. First of all, business systems in general, saves time. You can call a system a routine. It saves time, takes out the guesswork. It gives you freedom. And that's the main thing I love. It's freedom. Like, I don't have to think about it. It's seamless transition, meaning I can step out of the business and I have a system in place and I can hand it off to someone else. So if I'm hiring someone or management, this is our system that we have in place. So I'm going to share a system with you, but it's awesome because, like, just recently we just hired a new phone person. And this is our system. This is how, in big corporations, this is our policy, or this is our procedure. This is our system. And another benefit is you're consistent in all that you do. The great thing is why systems work. And if you haven't had an opportunity to read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, you need to do it. It's a classic. It just will really motivate you to really think about systems, how systems work. When you start watching people, restaurants, how do they get the food out? That's a system. But I ran 50 units for about 10 hours to 15 hours maximum a week, all through systems. So great. Now we know about systems. You're excited about systems. So here we go. Let's go into a system. The phone system. All right. So I have a phone system within my phone system. And I mean by phone system, I'm talking about the answering, replying to people, calling people, how they interact with our company, how do we track it, all that kind of stuff is within our little phone system. Well, we're going to talk about an answering system. We're going to talk about Google Voice. We're going to talk about separate phone numbers, texting, Google texting with Google Voice, canned responses, and then how I get the ball moving forward. Well, the first thing is, one of my systems is I don't answer the phone. And I think the phone is a waste of time. I prefer text messaging. And with this new generation, the millennials, they already know that. I remember the first time I got a Facebook message, and, email is old news. And then text messaging is old news, and Facebook messaging is the lick, whatever. So there's a system. The first thing I do is that the person that I'm dealing with, in this case, my tenants, I'd let them know what the system is right out the gate. So when they come in and sign a lease, I have a little piece of paper, and it says right at the top, this is how you communicate with us. And so my goal is, a lot of people, and I deal with a lot of tenants from all spectrums, and some people just want to talk on the phone. Well, talking on the phone about how bad their cat is, or how the cat peed on their carpet and they want it cleaned or whatever, you're wasting time. And that's not an income generator. And that's my goal, is to create income, to generate income. So I'm not on the phone to fool around. If I'm on the phone, I'm trying to make a sale. Okay. or I'm calling someone back that has potential for a tenant, for to rent a property, or I'm going to be on the phone trying to call someone. I'm not going to waste time on the phone dealing with idiot requests. So the first thing I did, number one, I push them to text message, because text message, number one, is I can record it, I can save it, I have a documentation of it, and it works in court. 2, I push them to email, and 3, leave a message. I make it very clear that if you text message, number one, we should respond to you within 120 minutes during business hours. So kind of gives them a peace of mind. If you email, it's going to take a day or two. And if you leave a phone call, leave a message, we may get back with you by text message. So we just up front, when you are a tenant here at our company, we prefer text messaging is the only way of communicating. And we're just up front with that, and we make it very clear. Okay, what happens is when a call comes in, this is our system. A phone will call in. We have a phone system, which is Google Voice in an essence. So all our signs, all our marketing, whatever we have, our lease, it all is based on a one phone number that you can get from Google Voice. It's free. So go to google.com/voice. So we have this one number. Well, with this one number, we have the control, the power to forward it, to have the phone ring at any time, or have it automatically go to voicemail. So the great thing that we do is we prefer not to answer the phone, but when we do, we'll respond back with something quickly, with a text message, what do I do? I call this 3-step slap. Text message, I don't know what I forgot. Anyway, let's get back to it. So here's our phone system. First of all, when the call comes in, it goes to multiple phone numbers. So if I'm out of the office, let's say, and it may ring our handyman, and he can answer the phone, and he can answer the idiot question of, are you showing the house tonight, or I'm lost, or can I pay my rent late? If they leave a message, it transcribes the message, and we can read the message, and then we respond back through texting. And then we make a call back to them. If we have to call them back, like their house is on fire and we need to call them back, we'll call them back through Google Voice. And so it just keeps everything in one neat and orderly area so we can reference it. The great thing about the system is that anyone in my office can check that system. So there's no confusion. Who said what? When did she call? When didn't she call? We can just log into Google Voice and check it out. And then, of course, we respond. So 9 times out of 10, and we always respond with a text message. Even if we get off the phone and we had a conversation. This is just for the real estate business, for our landlording business. When we get off the phone with you, we text back and remind them, thank you for talking to us. The house that we talked about was this. And what this does, it just reminds them and already training them to, hey, this is how to communicate with this company. And it's also kind of a marketing thing too. Hey, you looked at 123 Elm Street. Also, we have other houses at www.ourwebsite.com. So for whatever it's worth, that's our system. So we push them to text message. We push them to this one phone number that we control through Google Voice. And then also, if they do leave a message, we have records. So if they call up and they're all juiced up or out of control about some reason why we're evicting them, we have it on recording, and we can download that and use that for multiple reasons. All right, so the first thing, the call comes in, that's the system. And then we respond to them, and we always respond to them through text messaging. If we have a phone person up front, which has this system, she's been trained with this system, she will call them back, leave a message, no one answers the phone, she texts them back, and then she emails them. So any communication that has come through our office, our phone number, through the real estate, the person up front, girl or guy, whoever is in control of running the phone systems, they're going to text them back, they're going to call them back, and they're going to email them and let them know. If we get a call that comes in and it's, say, a maintenance call, and we can read it through the transcription, then we just forward that message to that contractor, or we just cut and paste the phone numbers in the system, the Google Voice, like the person calls, the caller ID. It's Sally at 123 Elm Street. She says, my heat and air is not working. We'll reply back, maybe say, what's wrong with the heat and air? We'll try to diagnose it as best as we can. But if we can't figure it out, we just cut the number and paste it to our contractor, and that's it. So that's how I'm able to run so many units with little time or effort. I just cut and paste from the screen, never communicated with the tenant. They called in, they may have left a message. It may be a transcription. I grab it, and then I move it on to forward it on to someone else. The great thing is it's freedom. I have freedom. I don't have to think about it. It's all at one place. I can pass it on to the new phone person that we just hired recently. She's already running the deal. And it's just a system that I did one time. I wrote this system a long time ago, and now it runs itself. All right. So that's the lesson today, is systems. And today's lesson is on phone systems. Now, I'm going to kind of break it down, how to create a system so you can be empowered and create your own systems. If you don't know this, but you have a system for just putting on your pants. Which leg do you put on first or through your pants? Is it your left or your right? That is a system. All right, so how do you create a system? Well, the first thing that you need to do is have a workflow or a flow chart or mind mapping or brainstorming. However, try to get a piece of paper. I get a blank piece of paper and I write out all the elements I can on the piece of paper. So if a tenant is an element, it's an inbound, it's an outbound. I kind of go over Google Voice. What is Google Voice? I explain, a lot of people that have worked here, they've never even heard of Google. So I have to kind of give them an idea what Google is. Well, the great thing, here's a little shortcut, is that you can go to YouTube and search what is Google Voice or what is Google Drive. And it will usually, there'll be some videos that are 30 minutes long or 20 minutes long, but there'll be a couple of videos that are only 3 minutes long. And so I watch that video and I'm like, that's a great video. And that tells exactly what I'm trying to do. I cut and paste that link, and then I have the new staff member, when she comes in, or I have them watch that video. So anyway, back to the thing. So you write out all the thoughts I can, everything. What is my goal? What's the tasks that I'm trying to get done? Everything I can think of, I write on this piece of paper. Then I start kind of going through it in my mind. I kind of do a sequence of it. Well, first you got to log in. Well, what's logging in? Now, hopefully the person that's working for you, or even yourself, you got to log in. And so every time I create a new product or a new situation or a new business, I have a system in place. So just like the podcast, when I started doing podcasts, a couple months ago, I had to kind of go through all these hula hoops. I had to figure out how to operate the recording device, and then how does it get into the computer? Well, then I already have a system already written. Well, several reasons why is a friend calls me up and says, man, your podcast is great. I want to do the same thing. Well, this is how you do it. It's, or if this happens to me, I have so much going on that I may go on a vacation for a week or two and I come back and I can't remember what's the next step. How do I got to upload it to SoundCloud. SoundCloud is not on my radar, but if I look at my system, my sequence of orders, okay, I upload it to this place, then I upload it to YouTube. And then I got to do SoundCloud, because SoundCloud doesn't do pre-scheduled stuff. You have to upload it live. So anyway, so you get an order of sequence. You can get screenshots. You can get creative. Now, this is labor intensive. This is not easy. And this is why, if it was easy, everyone would do it. But to be successful, you got to do the things that you don't want to do. I don't want to sit down for 2 hours and write out in my mind something stupid like, okay, how do you log into Google? But it's worth it, because it gives you freedom. Every time I don't want to do it, it's a nightmare. I would have my mom sit next to me and I would go over it and over it and over it. So like, I'm creating a system right now on how to make videos of vacant houses, because we're trying to rent these houses out as fast as possible. And I've realized through the years that video speaks volumes. These millennials, these young people, they don't take pictures. They want videos. They just want to click a button and sit back and let everything work for them. They don't want to drive in their car. They don't want to, ask questions. They just want to see a video, and if they'll make a decision off a video. It's fascinating. Well, I really don't want to drive to a property, whip out a camera. And so I'm like, can I hire some teenage kid to do this who needs a job, who'd love to make some money? Yes, there's tons of kids out there, but I'm very specific on what I want. I want these specific shots. So I'm creating in Google Drive, a system, a document that says, one, you have to take at least 20 photos. So when you walk into the property, open the door, leave the door open. Now turn up all the lights on. Now, if you're a realtor, you know this already, right? When you show a property, turn all the lights on, obviously. But for a young 15-year-old kid that's, a tech wizard, he doesn't know, he's never shown a house before. He probably never even been in a vacant house before. So you got to go through this scenario steps. Now you're going to forget it. You're going to forget stuff. So you have to grind it down and go back and back and back. And then you can do the ultimate. The ultimate is the idiot test. You print it out and you hand it to someone else. And if you can't find someone else, pay them. Say, go through this training manual, however you want to call it, this system, and tell me what you think. And you get great feedback, and then you're done. That's it. You do it once, and you created a system. So, I don't want to, I'm doing about 3 or 4 or 5 videos. My goal is to do 10 videos, write it out. I'm done. And then I'm going to go hire someone to do the videos. And the crazy thing is, when I go hire someone, I have a system on hiring people. I post an ad on Craigslist, and this is the next thing. So hopefully you get from this message that you're just juiced up, so excited that the savvy landlord was like, oh, this is it. This is why I'm not doing well. This is why, because I keep repeating myself. I keep wasting time. What really hit me hard was Robert Kiyosaki said, I wrote the book once, and it just continues to sell forever. I wrote the book once, and it continues to sell forever. I wrote the system once. It's tough. It's not easy. You're not gonna like it, and but you got to push through, and you got to know in the back of your mind, what's my why? Why am I doing this? So I can create freedom for myself, so I can do the things that I want to do. If you like this episode and it impacted your life, shoot me an email. Let me know, because I would love to cover more systems, give you more examples, and help you as best as I can to grow your business so you can give more and help more people. Anyway, if you're down, you can email me. It's info@thesavvylandlordbook.com. That's info@thesavvylandlordbook.com. You can also text 5454, the number 545454, and the word ASK, and I'll shoot you back. Anyway, hopefully you had a great time listening to this episode. Spread the word, share this, and the number one thing you should do is always be thinking about conspiring, thinking, meditating on buying assets. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to The Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter @LandlordBook and always be buying assets.